Alright, here we are with our 50s-ish Arctic Air 3-speed. And today we're going to prep it for a little work tomorrow. Tomorrow I hope to get the motor apart, if we can get the blades off. And since I had to wire up the grate, it's not just as simple as pulling them out. And then on the other side, this grate was a real pain in the butt to get off. The housing is bent, and the hook itself is bent too, but it was really difficult to get it out of there. So that's something you don't want to have to do too many times. And just for a little air, we got the little Marvin twin going. So that's what we're going to take apart, and I'll show you what the results of cleaning was once we have the grates off. Alright, you can see in cleaning it, we got a lot of the dirt out. There's still a little to be dealt with there. But it came out fairly clean considering. So not as much rust as it looked like there was. And you can see also on the top of the motor housing, I cleaned it up, and it looks pretty good. There is a little bit of up and down motor play from this end, and a little bit of in and out play. And when it ran, it kind of rumbled, which I think could be, hear that? Dungu, dungu, dungu. Well, imagine that at 1500 RPM. That's what your rumble sound is. So we'll just have to see what happens. We're going to try and pull the bearings. Not the bearing, the shaft as a hex set screw. So we'll see if we can get those off today. And let me show you this. Hold on. So this is the one. It's kind of jimmied up, and the case is bent, and it really don't want to come out of there. It took me a minute the first time, and it's going to take me a minute again. So here's the motor mounts, rubber. Kind of like the GEs, a little bit anyway. And again, I just did as much of the dust and dirt as I could, and it came out okay. The blades seem to be painted, and they're a little dirty, you know. We're going to flip it over. Hold on. So the set screw came out, which is good. And it was the, I don't know, the biggest of the bottom ones. What did it say? 1/8 for, something like 1/8, I think, just for my own record. So now we'll see if, I don't imagine the blade's going to want to come off, but we'll see. Alright, we're at that crossroads where we don't have the right tool. I don't have a puller, which I need to get. It might help with this. So we're going to see. In the past, I've just hit it with the spray and tapped on the shaft. I even have some ball bearings that I've used in the past to have a proud surface there. You know, you don't want to do any more damage than you have to, so I might wait. Let me think about it. Alright, I've got some of this magic stuff my brother sent me. BG in force. And I'm just going to hit some inside there where the set screw goes, and here on the end. You don't seem to need a lot of this stuff. I'm just trying to keep it from getting on any of the painted surfaces or in the motor, as you can see. So I got it shook up, and we're just going to hit it with a little bit of that stuff there. It smells pretty bad, and apparently it shouldn't take long. Apparently, you know, you just spray it on there, give it a couple minutes. It's not like a let it soak overnight kind of thing. It's going somewhere. You did see it. It came out there. So we'll see what happens. That's what's next. What I was trying to do was just to put this in here and kind of pull up on the blades and tap it, but it's obviously loose here, and it's not really making anything happen anyway. So we need an actual tool. I'm going to have to purchase a puller and see if we can get this to move. In addition, we'll need more more of that spray stuff. So that'll be the plan. So we need to get a tool before we can move forward with the Arctic Air. So there you go. Kind of what you'd expect, and we'll see if we can make any progress. Alright, I ran out of that Harbor Freight, picked up some pullers, and we're going to try to see if this moves for us. I hit it a few times with that penetrant stuff, but it only seems to be getting through the keyway, so I don't really know if it's doing anything. We're going to see, and we'll talk about it in a second. So here's how we're thinking about this. From the advices that I've seen on YouTube videos, I can't gather all your names right now, but a number of people have some videos that talk about some good things you want to be aware of when you're dealing with these you don't want to bend the blade hub itself. You don't want to bang on the end of the shaft and have it spread out, because then it's never going to come off of the shaft if you mushroom, they call that, mushrooming the end of the shaft. The other thing is we don't want anything to fall down into the motor, so we're going to be careful with that. And one of the advices that I saw was, he said you just want to use hand tightening. You don't want to use the wrench and put all the 1 ton, because you're going to bend these. These are pretty heavy, but still, you don't want to put too much pressure. You want to kind of use finger tightness, you know. So let's get the pullers out of the box and see what we do next. Some assembly required, apparently. Of course, this is so you can set it up for inside or outside pulling. It depends on the edge that you're looking at. Alright, so another piece of advice from one of the videos was to use a socket to center the force, to spread the force out on the shaft, as opposed to using the puller just has a, as you know, the puller just has a sharp point on it here. So what you do is you get this in there, then that spreads out your force. This shaft, the end of this, is not exactly machined flat. I mean, it feels funny. I also don't know if I'll be able to get the jaws underneath here with the paper towels there. We'll see. I've got the 3-jaw puller on the blade hub, as you can see. Finger tight here. I've got a little socket there taking on the point of the puller and distributing the force down onto the shaft. As you can see, we're not touching the outside there, so we have clearance around, and this should help us to get this to start moving. If you needed this to pull all the way through, if it doesn't move freely once it breaks free, then you might need a slug or some sort of a steel slug, basically, to get the shaft all the way out. Obviously, this is only going to go as far as that little nub on the end there. So what people are saying you do is you kind of hold this and turn the blade, and it puts a light finger pressure. If you need to, you can use a wrench on here, but turn the blades by hand. And we just want to try not to bend anything. What I've seen done also, you get some pressure on it, and you can give it a little tap with a little light metal hammer. And sometimes the pressure and a little tap will break whatever's in there free. Generally, that's a practice that you'll use when you're pulling a flywheel. I've seen that done. So we'll see what happens. We're going to mount the camera on the stand, and I'm going to try to free this blade. Alright. So I'm just tightening with my hand here. No movement really, so I'm not feeling anything. You know, who knows if this is actually going to work? We don't know. Let me find my wrench. Unfortunately, it's kind of a small wrench, so I'm not even going to be able to get a lot of leverage on it. But at least I'll be able to hold it, and we'll start adding a little pressure. We might have had a little movement there on the shaft. We're going to see. It seems to be moving. We've got a little low spot in there. Let's see if I can move you closer. Yeah, the blades are moving a little bit. So we've got some movement there. They're moving on us. Almost hold it by hand now. Alright, we've got some movement. Not sure how far we can go with the lug that we've got in there. The blades are not off yet, but that's as far as I can go with my slug that I have. I need an extra piece. Well, let's see if we can pull it the other way now. Get this apart and see, without dropping anything, if we can. Okay, we pull our puller out. Now you see we've made some progress. Let's see if that was enough. It wasn't quite enough. The still have a lot of, yeah, that's not quite there yet. So it moved, but not quite enough. Okay, we have to come up with another plan. All right, our problem is that it's still stuck on, but we've got a lot of space, too much space, so that our little spacer deal only went up to here. That's as far as it went. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this in addition to a few small ball bearings that I can press through there, and I'm doing it in a standing position so that they don't fall into the motor. That's what I'm trying to protect the windings. And if I left it laying down, those ball bearings could have fallen into the motor and caused problems. That's what I'm trying to avoid, right? So let me show you what we do next. Alright, I've got now a ball bearing in there. The shaft only came out about halfway through this hub. So I got a ball bearing in there on top, underneath that lug, and we got all that stuff. So we're going to see if this works. I'm going to stand the fan back up, but we're finger tight and ready to go. The ball bearing thing ain't working. I can't get the puller to stand up straight, so that's not working. Next plan. I found a little flat piece here. And this might be enough to get us through. We'll see. Eureka! We got the blades off. I didn't even use the wrench. I just put that slug down on top of the shaft and turned everything, and it was loose enough at that point. So there is your Fasco motor. We'll do a little dusting and cleaning here, and then we'll take a look at the blades. And here's the blade hub. No surprises. You know, it's got the rubber mount here. And there's the underside. Pretty much what you'd expect. We're going to get any crud off of it we can and set it aside for when we put it back together. I might run some steel wool through the inside here just to clean this out, and I'll do the same on the end here. Just so that it all goes back together easier and comes apart easier the next time. That's the other thing you're looking for. Alright, we got the shaft cleaned off a little bit, and we got the inside of the hub cleaned out a little bit. So that's all ready to go. And the next thing we'll do is we'll dismount the motor and see if we can pull the motor apart. The motor in the has some cutouts in the lamination here. You see that? So that you can knock this off. There's one on the other side facing the other. Nice of them to do that for you. So here we are. We got the blades off without over damaging anything. We did a good job. So that's exciting. We've got a nice tool puller that we can use on our other metal bladed fans, hopefully, to get them apart as well. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more on this Fasco. I'm looking forward to get this back together and running. I'm not going to paint it. It's pretty clean as it is. Not going to do any. Looks like it doesn't need any wiring unless we find something we don't like. So we should be cool. Fasco. All right.